When you're evaluating a new startup or business idea, there are 6 dynamics you really want to consider: the customer, the product, timing, competition, finance, and team. So the first market dynamic is the customer. Think about something that is an unmet need or desire, something that the market is not currently satisfying. Is there a pain point somebody has? They have a challenge that is not being solved. That's usually the best place to start, not chasing after market share for a problem that somebody else is already addressing. The second heuristic is reliable access to the customer. Think about opportunities to reach people on a regular basis without relying upon a single marketing channel. If you rely upon that single channel and that starts to become a problem, your entire business is at stake. Think about opportunities where you can reach customers readily and you can control those access points. For example, Google search results. If you relied entirely on organic search results, that might be a problem when the algorithms change. And finally, think about the right size market segment for the capabilities you have to service them. If you're a single solo entrepreneur, you might not want to go after the biggest opportunity in the market today. You just simply won't have the resources to be effective. In such a case, you might want to consider something more niche. And conversely, if you do have access to a lot of resources, you might want to consider that bigger opportunity to satisfy the maximum opportunities for the capital that you have. The second market dynamic is product. Focus on a simple solution to that unmet need or desire. You don't want to complicate it with a lot of features that are unnecessary and that are going to hide the value that you're actually providing. The second is low barrier to adoption. Think about all the reasons that a person might possibly resist taking on your product. There might be investments they already have in other solutions. There might be a learning curve that they have to go through to be able to use your product. Think of ways that you can simplify everything that it takes for them to start using your product. Reduce those barriers so that they start to take on use of your product. And finally, clear value proposition. The value proposition needs to be very clear. They need to be able to understand within just a few sentences exactly what it is that you are providing, what solution it is that you provide to that need or desire that they have. Don't complicate it. Don't make it something that they can't understand without a long explanation. The third market dynamic is timing. You need to consider that every innovation has a natural life cycle. There's a beginning and an end. If you come in too early, there's a good chance that you might invest in something that never takes off. Conversely, though, if you come in too late, you'll be up against competitors that already have efficiencies of scale. They may already have feature sets as well that you need to catch up on before you're going to be comparable. The best way to make sure that you're hitting the right market timing is to look for something that simply was not possible 3 to 5 years ago. If you can find that, then that's the sweet spot and it's probably good timing for you to enter the market. The fourth market dynamic is competition. What you're looking for really is an inefficient marketplace. When you see an efficient market, that's a result of a single competitor being able to service the market better than anybody else. They've already reached efficiencies of scale. They're able to provide an excellent solution a lot of times on a really low price point. It's not necessarily somewhere that you can compete, especially if you're just starting out. So what you're looking for are indications that this might not yet be an efficient market. Something such as a fragmented market, a segmented market. These are indications to you that the market might not yet be efficient and you can still enter. You're also looking for low barriers to entry. If you're going against a product set from a competitor that already has a ton of great features, this is something that you're going to have to catch up with so that you're at least directly comparable before you can even start to differentiate yourself. That's not ideal. What you want is something that does not have a lot of barriers to entry in terms of network effects or feature set or other costs so that you can come in and quickly start to compete for attention from the market. Finally, consider what your differentiable position is going to be within the marketplace. Michael Porter talked about in generic competitive strategies 3 different positions that you can take within the market. The first is to be the cost leader. That's really only possible if you're the first one to the market. If you're entering a slightly more mature market, you should instead look at segmentation. How can you have a more authentic voice when you speak to the customers? Do something that's more authentic to them? Or do you have a differentiable product, something that has different features than somebody else? It works fundamentally different. Perhaps it's more innovative in addressing that problem than the others. The fifth market dynamic is finance. Remember, your goal here is to be able to put in as little capital as possible and have as big of a financial outcome as possible. So in other words, you might be looking for efficiencies of scale at the end, but without putting a whole lot of capital at risk in the beginning. Capital can be risked either through sunk cost, having to develop a product, or it can be risked by having to keep it floating in the air for too long, having to pay sourcing costs or labor costs that you don't get paid on for 60, 90, or 120 days later. You want as little capital at risk as possible to achieve the biggest financial outcome as possible. Finally, consider the team dynamic. First and foremost, you need to make sure that your team represents the subject matter expertise necessary to be able to provide an effective solution to the customer's problem. You also need to make sure that it represents the functional expertise to be able to deliver the product or service that it is that you want to provide. And finally, make sure that any supplier partnerships that are required are in place. If you're trying to source materials or products that you're going to sell, make sure that you have those preferred sourcing partners in place. Or if this is a software product, make sure you have those data API relationships so you can build what you need to. Ultimately, your team needs to be able to deliver effectively upon the solution that it is that you hope to create. Okay, so those are the 6 marketing dynamics to consider for your startup or new product opportunity. Hopefully you did well against all 6, but if not, that should give you some idea where the challenges are and what you need to address before you proceed.